The pizza delivery guy grabbed my arm and said, "Don't eat anything your stepdad cooked tonight." What? I said, confused, because we hadn't even ordered pizza, and Gary's lasagna was already in the oven, making the whole house smell like garlic. The delivery guy pushed the pizza box into my hands anyway, and leaned in closer. "Just tell your mom you ordered it. Don't eat his food, trust me." He turned around and walked back to his car, but kept looking over his shoulder at our house like he was checking if anyone was watching. "Who was that?" Gary called from the kitchen where he was tossing salad in Mom's big wooden bowl. I carried the pizza inside, trying to figure out what to say. "Pizza's here?" I said, even though it came out like a question. Gary's face went red the way it did when he got mad about little things like me leaving my bike in the driveway or forgetting to close the garage door. "We didn't order any pizza. I've been cooking all afternoon." He wiped his hands on Mom's apron that said, "Kiss the cook," which looked weird on him. Mom came downstairs fixing her earring and smiled when she saw the box. "Oh good, you remembered to order backup food in case Gary burned dinner again." She was joking, but Gary didn't laugh. He grabbed the pizza box from me and walked to the front door looking up and down the street. The delivery car was still parked at the corner, which was strange because they usually drove away fast to make more deliveries. "That driver is still out there." Gary's voice had that edge that meant someone was going to get yelled at. Mom went to look, and the delivery guy was definitely still there, just sitting in his car, staring at our house. "Maybe he's on break?" Mom suggested, but she was already reaching for her phone. Gary slammed the door harder than necessary and threw the pizza box on the counter. "We're not eating that. Someone's playing a prank and I don't think it's funny." He went back to the kitchen and started plating his lasagna with angry movements. I wanted to tell Mom what the driver had said, but Gary was right there listening to everything. Mom looked tired the way she'd been looking lately, with her eyes kind of unfocused and her movements slower than usual. "I need to sit down for a minute. I've been getting these dizzy spells." She held onto the back of the chair, and Gary immediately brought her a glass of wine. He was always bringing her wine before dinner, saying it was good for her stress, but tonight he seemed extra eager to put it in her hand. "Drink this. It'll help." He rubbed her shoulders and watched her take a sip. The doorbell rang again, and Gary practically ran to answer it. The pizza guy was back standing on our porch, and Gary stepped outside, closing the door behind him. I could hear their voices getting louder through the window. Mom tried to stand up to see what was happening, but sat back down, holding her head. "Everything's been so fuzzy lately. Maybe I need vitamins." She took another sip of wine, and I noticed Gary had already refilled it when I wasn't looking. Gary came back inside, his face completely red now, and his hands making fists. "He says he knows you. Says his name is Logan." Mom's eyes went wide, and she tried to stand up again, but Gary put his hand on her shoulder, keeping her in the chair. "Logan is in Afghanistan. This is just some crazy person." But Mom was already pushing past him to the door. The delivery guy stood there and pulled off his baseball cap. Even I could see he looked like Mom around the eyes and nose. "I came back early. Jessie called me. She said you haven't been yourself. Said you've been sick every night after dinner." Mom started crying, and Gary grabbed her arm, trying to pull her back inside. "This is insane. You're scaring my family. I'm calling the police." "Go ahead, call them. They can test what you've been putting in her wine." Logan stepped into our house without being invited, and Gary blocked his path. "You don't know what you're talking about." But his voice was different now, scared instead of angry. Mom looked at her wine glass, then at Gary, then at Logan. The headaches, the dizzy spells, they only happen at dinner. She said it slowly, like she was figuring out a math problem. Logan nodded and moved toward the kitchen. "Show me the wine bottle, the one only she drinks from." Gary tried to grab it first, but Logan was faster. He held it up to the light, and you could see something cloudy swirling in the bottom. "You were never going to leave him, were you?" Logan asked Mom, who was crying harder now. "I tried. I kept trying, but I couldn't think straight. Couldn't remember why I wanted to leave." She looked at Gary, who wasn't denying anything, just standing there staring at the floor. Logan pulled out his phone and started dialing. "She was going to leave you and take the kid, so you decided to keep her too confused to fight back." The police came and took the wine bottle and Gary and asked Mom a lot of questions while Logan held her hand. Turns out he'd been putting sleeping pills in her wine every night, just enough to keep her foggy and dependent, but not enough to make anyone suspicious. Except Logan knew something was wrong when Mom's friend called him overseas saying she was worried. He came home and got a job at the pizza place just to check on us.